Hey, dude.
Hey, so we just finished recording with
a
Andrè
fucking great episode.
Easy from Juxtaposition Debate and Josh.
We had some big major technical issues at the beginning, but we've got that resolved.
Yeah, so we wanted to get the housekeeping out of the way because we're faithful. We are faithful. Faithful. So, CQ Pop Culture Warrior, Two Brothers Podcast with Troy and Trevor, and the Trevor Jackson Podcast, the Redneck News Entertainment, the Redneck Review Podcast, Andy Harris at the Andy Harris. Yep. He's got a new podcast.
Yeah, I saw that.
With, I can't remember the guy's name, but anyway, we have t-shirts and stickers. B3FPodcast.com. Tell us what you really think. We had a great episode coming up for you guys. It's a two-parter because we went well over 2 hours. Yeah.
We need to start mentioning Juxtaposition Debate, by the way. They
Juxtaposition
are friends of the
Debate.
show. They're great fucking
They're
shows.
Sundays. I think it's 3 to 5 or 4 to 6 Eastern.
And I haven't talked about this with
Soul
you yet,
Radio.
but I'm officially dubbing fucking Josh from What Are We Doing Here as a friend of the show.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He was fucking fantastic.
So Josh Dunn, it's What Are We Doing Here podcast. I think you can find it under WAWDH. On Facebook and Instagram. But anyway, so this was a great discussion. We talked about guns, gun control, race, wealth,
drugs,
the word cunt.
Yep.
Andrè has a statement about the differences between different sects of the black race.
Versus like anti-Semitism and shit. It blew my mind. I've never thought of it. And you know me, like I pretty logically and conceptually like walk through arguments and stuff, and I'd never thought of this angle before. Like it 100% changed my mind on some shit, and I'm grateful. I'm legitimately grateful for the dude.
But we talk about Andrè says that we talk about David Weiss because Josh interviewed him as well. We go into marriage and relationships, polyamory. And
we drank so much tequila this morning.
We drank a lot. Solid show, lads. Just got a message from Josh Dunn. Solid show, lads. So,
all right. Well, enjoy the rest of the show, and two-parter, and we'll see you for episode 100.
Yep, with Gordon Firemark, and that will be. I think it's the 5th. It'll release.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Until then, have a good one. Bye.
Do with it.
So
it's so quiet.
It is very So
I thought.
Okay. That's it was like a 3, 2, 1, go, or is it a 3, 2, 1 and we go on one? No, it's cool. We're here.
Yeah. Now I'm used to you guys chatting amongst yourselves to begin with. So for some reason, I thought that's what was going to happen. But
right.
So now we're here. How's everyone doing?
It's right. We're excited, man. We got imperialists from the UK, and then we got fucking a cool guy from Austria. So we're super excited about this. Austria. Australia. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
can we Austrian? Same thing. Just a couple letters different, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we can all agree. At least it's not New Zealand.
What's wrong with New Zealand?
Nothing. Anywhere that has comments, man, I'm happy.
12:02 and the abuse has started.
It's already 2 minutes in.
So is everyone going to introduce themselves or what? How are we running this?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start with the top down. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Easy. I'm up here in Edinburgh, Scotland. It is peaceful. The weather's nice. The scenery is rocking, and I've taken the time out to sit here with you four fuckers. So,
right,
yeah.
For whatever reason, Joey, didn't set this up right.
No.
It's. I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's not. It's not.
No,
are we not
streaming now?
Okay,
it wasn't, but it is now.
Oh, never mind then. No, sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry.
It was delayed on the broadcasting there.
The stream was delayed, and it was telling us it was not streaming; it was just recording. So that's
okay.
Let's go back to it. So
Easy's in Scotland.
Sorry, he's in Scotland.
I don't know why it says recording instead of live. But
do you want to say it again?
No,
speak, my man. Speak.
It's just a shit show, already. So it's good time.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Easy. I'm up here in Edinburgh, Scotland, holding it down for the Independent Brigade. I've taken the time out to kick back and enjoy some frank discussion with these four reprobates.
Right?
He's got such a way with words, isn't he?
It
Yeah.
is.
It's amazing.
What a wordsmith.
Oh, is that it? Is that it?
That's it. I think
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, that's me.
What his problem was.
I take it back. I take it back. He hasn't got such a way with words.
Too hot out of the gate.
How many takes of this thing do you want?
Good
Too
God.
hot out of the gate.
God damn it, that is more than enough. We've had our
All right. My name is Andrè. I'm from London. Okay. And so I'm here representing the Juxtaposition debate. So let me just quickly talk about that. Two things being seen or placed close together for contrasting effect. So I guess that's roughly what we're doing here. We're not so much of a podcast. We broadcast on LN Soul Radio. And that's what we do. It's the sort of debate that can be heard in any black barbershop, we say, in and around London, heavy on opinion, passion, and banter. So that's what we do. And Andrè is who I am. Josh?
These are really hard to follow.
They've gone. Look at that, they've gone.
I don't know
was
what
fucking
happened.
weird. That's got us live now, goddammit.
We thought you left us. We thought you had enough.
Yeah, we were already done. We were just like, fuck these guys. We're out.
Yeah, it's way too much.
No, it's live now. For some reason, it didn't start live streaming. It just started recording. So we still got the first half of this shit.
If it makes you feel better, mine was streaming the whole time. So
Oh,
Go on, Josh.
like one of these fucking people
We love to get it. We love to get the stuff from you at the end, Josh. We have to get the recording from you.
yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I went to click to see what was going on, and it just cut the broadcast. But it's going now. It should be on the same link, hopefully.
That's all right. I don't think you missed much. The
Yeah.
boys,
Yeah.
they gave us some. Not enough, but let me knock your socks off.
All right,
I'm Josh.
so Andrè,
We're up to me. We're up to me. Let me do it. I'm Josh. I'm from Australia. I did a "What Are We Doing Here" podcast. There's really no purpose to my podcast. I just wanted to talk to people, and that's how I met Easy and Andrè. Just talking to strangers on the internet. Everything you're told not to do, I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna do it. And now I've met the B3 F boys, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same. Just talking to strangers on the internet, having a good laugh.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
And then we're B3F. We're kind of the same. We have no fucking purpose in life whatsoever.
None.
And so Stephen and Joey, and we met through Juxtaposition debate as well, Andrè and Easy, and then we met Josh through them. So really, Andrè and Easy are bringing the fucking world together. And as far as I know, this is the first fucking like intercontinental, 3 continents, 4 fucking countries. So I think it's I think we should have gotten more publicity out of this bullshit.
Breaking new ground.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I don't listen to podcasts. We've talked about this. I'm really shitty about that. So I mean, I've caught a little bit of Juxtaposition a couple times and a little bit of what are we doing here? But otherwise, man, I'm fucking shooting dark. So it'll be fun.
I think it's the best way to do it, right? I think when I had a chat to the Juxta boys, I went in completely blind, and it was probably one of my favorite podcasts. It was just good banter for about an hour and a half or something. It was just a good chat. I think if you go in with like this this set thing that you want to talk about, as soon as that gets derailed, you're like, nah, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
If I remember,
oh, go ahead, man.
if I remember correctly, it was coming closer to 2 hours, Josh. But then your missus started walking around in the background, which I think was a hint. was a hint for us to pack everything up.
Let's
I thought, let me just shut up. Yeah, because I'm going to say the same thing.
I'm
thinking, George said we spoke for hour and a half, thinking you lie. Your missus walked behind you, thinks that you need to cut this right here.
Yeah, that reminded me easy of what you used to say. Easy, you used to say that when your mum wanted people to go, she'd walk into the room and turn the light off.
Turn the lights off, yeah.
Not say a word, just walk in and turn the light off. So yeah.
Look around at all of us and switch the light off and then shut the door. Yeah. That make get the fuck out, go home.
B3F, what made you start your podcast? Like, what was the catalyst for all of it? Was it COVID? Because I think COVID kicked a lot of things off for a lot of people.
So no, actually, we started before COVID. We're actually coming up on 2 years. In August, but we've known each other. We've been friends for 23, 24 years or something like that, and we got after I got married and Steven joined the military, like we just kept in touch when we were younger, just through phone calls and occasionally him coming home and I said military and it makes it sound better than it was. He was in the Coast Guard, so
I mean, it doesn't.
Sunbathing on the beaches of Alaska
and can't even swim.
Right.
Yeah, right. barely.
So and then we lived close together for a short amount of time, and then I moved here to Knoxville, and we had talked about it multiple times. And when he moved to Knoxville about 2 to 2.5 years ago, it was started out as an excuse to hang out and just kind of record the crazy conversations that we have, and then we slowly just started interviewing people as well. And that's really it. It's still kind of an excuse to hang out. We barely talk if these mics aren't turned on. And
it's because we don't like each other outside of here is what I'm
on. But we're also simultaneously the only two people that can tolerate each other.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
So anyway, is there anything you can do about this?
No, not at this point.
That's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. Josh is streaming this, but for whatever reason, it's not letting us stream this show. It's recording it, but it's not.
No, it says live. But
I know it says live here on our screen, but if you go to any of the pages, it's not live.
It doesn't matter.
So
right, okay.
Oh, I gave out that link to a lot of people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. I just had a heads up. Is the show on?
Yeah, it's fucking on, and we say we're streaming, but it's not popping up on our platform, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, we could always stop it, god damn it, and restart.
Have you got a link or something, Josh?
Do you guys need a minute? Yeah, I got a link. I'm just streaming mine through Facebook right now.
We can do either. I mean, we can stop it and spit it out again, and it'll just start another show, and we could stitch the video together later.
It's entirely up to you guys. I got nothing but time, man. So it's entirely up to you guys if you want to reboot it, restart it.
Yeah,
I'm sure anybody watching this is no deal.
Because the thing with Facebook is after 10 minutes of starting quote unquote late, it'll just completely cut the fucking event,
which is what it's done now.
Yeah. God damn it.
Hey, this is on you.
Yeah, fucking the world, one person at a time. Yeah. One podcast is big.
So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and cut you guys. It'll be a different link, which Joey can send super fast.
Yep.
And I can send an email, and we'll cut this and we'll just pop it up again, and it'll just pop out on a different stream. Is that cool with you guys? Because this needs to be watched by the world, and I don't know what the fuck happened. So
no, you guys do you. I'll
While he's doing that, I will send you guys the Facebook link so that Andre, if you need to send that out to people again, you can do that real quick, and then you'll get an email with the link to the stream. I don't know why this is happening.
They're going to send a link out again.
This is the first issue we've ever had with
this. Continents. What's this? Sorry, guys. It just kicked us. Okay.
You know, when you're paving the way.
Yeah, but we can, like I said, we can still
like continental podcast.
I will try and pop in my shows at the same time.
Yeah. So, like I said, give it like 2 seconds. I'll close this, and then we'll get the link, and we'll all log back in, and we'll fucking just continue.
All right. They're gonna send another link. So you need
We're not showing live.
There we go. 2 fucking viewers.
Yeah.
The other guys will be on in just a second.
Someone pull the chat up. Someone let us know who's watching.
Yeah, no, there's nothing on there.
Nothing. Well, I know there's nothing there. I'm asking.
No.
Let us know who's watching. The guy should pop up in a moment. And Jesus Christ.
If you're just joining us, though, we are drinking fucking Tequila Sunrises with some of this delicious.
I haven't had any
tequila.
of mine yet. You're over there drinking with no.
It's fucking good, man.
No.
We can cheers this shit up.
Definitely tell you didn't really mix that. You just kind
You're
of.
not supposed to mix them.
Really, you just kind of. I think I'll have this much. I think
you
I'll have this much.
you layer Tequila Sunrise.
No, I get that. I didn't mean stir mix. I meant you didn't measure it out. That's what I'm saying.
I poured more into mine than I did in yours.
I believe you. I believe you.
Hey, dude. Jesus Christ.
So, how we doing here, fellas? I gotta readjust fucking everything now.
Yeah,
No,
dude. I don't know because it said going live when we first hit fucking record, and then it just said recording, and then when I stopped it, it went live.
Yeah.
But then it didn't hit any of the.
It was weird
in the stream points. So
yeah, I'd be shocked if nothing went wrong tonight. No,
So-
if it was
yeah,
just,
no, I was thinking.
Tracy from Juxtaposition.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, oh, Jesus. And plus, I forgot to hit record at the beginning. Joey remembered that. So it's just one of those mornings.
Which is why we do it at 8 o'clock at night, not 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
you know what? It'll be fun. Yeah. I get the whole thing, raw, unedited.
Yeah.
Going straight to the people.
Well, I know, like we don't edit shit. Like whatever gets said, we just fucking leave in there and spit it out, which is, for better and for worse, depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who have you guys had on? Who's like, let's start talking about some of your guests. Let's rattle them off. Like,
So one thing for sure I wanted to talk to you about is we had on David Weiss.
Yeah.
oh,
Back in January. And
What a banana.
we are not flat earthers.
I almost was after that episode.
I don't believe it. But he reached out to us and asked if he could come on the show, and we said absolutely you can come on, and actually had a great conversation with him. He's a really nice guy. Like I expected an asshole, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
I like Dave. He was super polite, like leading up to it, like even like in the pre bit we had, like super nice. I've got nothing against him. It was just like, where do you guys stand with it? It's fucking stupid. It's
there you go. That's
fucking
we didn't really
Like,
say that. We just basically told him we don't believe in flat Earth.
Yeah.
so when I got him on, like everybody expected me to argue with him, and I think he expects it too. But I was you just want to learn their side of it, right? And it wasn't for me to pick it apart. If he wants to believe it, to be honest, he's not hurting anybody. So
No. And
I don't really have any issue with it. But I think the only issue I have with it is it starts to attach itself to like fucking everything else. It's like, well, the Earth's flat, and that's fine. Like, and there's 5G towers of turning everybody into fucking zombies. And they're microchipping you to track where you are, and doctors are horrible people. And like, I think the thing that irked me, he was like, if you take like lots of magnesium, you can cure cancer. And I was like, like,
I'm gonna need some
chemist
science.
warehouse.
The best part of that show though was the comments section, like just the people that chat. People just it's fantastic.
Yeah. I had to stop, man. I was feeding into it. I remember when I first started, because he was one of my first guests, and you listen to other podcasts and like never read the comment section, and I did, and it was so like I was just like, what I mean? Like you get home from like a long day of work, and you're tired and you're stressed out, and you're like, ooh, like 20 comments, and you read them, and it's just people like, oh yeah.
Well, I've never in modern times seen people throw out the word retard so much in my entire life. Like that was half of the comments.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
People still use that? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But well, our whole thing was too, because we had a lot of people that got kind of pissy because we didn't argue with them. Is the same. I was like, I just want to talk to the guy. And I find
that's exactly right. Like I think a podcast, you go fucking argue in the street if you want to do it. Like this is a way to actually like, me talking to you guys, and we can have a discussion about whatever. We're going to disagree on things.
Yeah.
But it opens a door. Like you don't have to fucking fight with everybody you disagree with.
Yeah, 100%. And but we kind of go into most of our stuff, and you mentioned doing the same. It's like when we have people on, like we just like to talk to people. Like we don't go in, like Joey's more structured and usually has certain things he wants to hit, but like I just, I'm kind of whatever. So it makes it for a good mix because you kind of keep things on topic a little bit. But
well, that's one thing. Like, we've always kind of, I don't know if we tried to start with, if we just were we're decent at it, but like. For instance, we had a hockey player. He plays minor league hockey here, or he played here in Knoxville. He's moved to another team now, but we had him on, and we probably, out of a 2-hour podcast, we probably talked about hockey for 30 minutes. And afterwards he was like, this was one of the more fun interviews I've ever done because I didn't have to sit and talk about hockey the whole time.
That's right, man. Yeah. I think that's the best part about it. It's like everyone that I've had on, it's like I'm not like here's a fucking list of questions and we got like a set time to get it in. So I have to ask these like particular questions about things. You can just sort of get to know people.
Yeah.
And it gives you like a better picture of the answers that you want answered anyway, because they're more open and they're not feeling like you're giving them like this cookie cutter bullshit that most people are used to.
Yep. And I usually, like, if I'm booking, I'll hit them up ahead of time and be like, hey, is there anything you don't want to talk about? Because we don't edit. So whatever gets said is going to be fucking out there. So if there's anything you don't want to talk about, let me know and we'll avoid that shit. But otherwise, like, it's all fair game. And half the time they'll end up talking about the shit they said they didn't want to talk about just because it's natural conversation going into it. But like we had Jay Nielsen on, one of my favorite guests we've had. And he's one of the judges. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Forged in Fire. It's a big, bladesmithing.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it's I think we just got it on Netflix.
Yeah. So one of the judges came on, and he had a few things he didn't want to talk about his kids. He didn't want to talk about like his wife and shit like that. And by the end of it, like that's the type of shit that we were, talking about. And and we found that most people that we have on like are really fucking cool, but B, like they'll be like, oh, well, I only have an hour or 45 minutes, and they'll end up staying on the full 2.
Were you guys shocked, like the people that you could get on? Like I was very like, because I originally started with just people I knew in my hometown,
right?
And then I found like a Matchmaker FM, and pretty much just used that, and that has been like anybody. Like you can just get people. Like I had spoke to somebody from NASA, which was bizarre. Like me, like being like Australian, like NASA's this like whoa type of thing. So I never thought he'd come on and just chat to some random guy from Australia. And that was a great conversation.
Yeah.
You guys all good?
Yeah. Andre's messaging me, asking me to send him the link through a different app than email. You know those Brits, they got to do everything different.
He's a little backwards over
there. There we go. We got one. It's cool. And again, like, so if you're watching, man, apologies for all the technical difficulties, but we're running fucking 4 different countries here. So it's a little bit of a
doing it. We had
no one to live now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have to admit, I didn't realize that we had to change the actual, I know, the link that we're using to connect together. I thought we were just going to change the YouTube link, but I guess it makes sense.
I will send you that link.
Well, that's the one downside to Melon is if you start a new stream, you have to send a new custom link.
All right, yeah. So I was sitting on the old one. Yeah. Oh, hold on, I better check Easy then. Easy might still be sitting on the old one then.
Yeah, I just did reply all on the email. So, but we'll be off to the races here soon. Like we just were having a great conversation until fucking Andrè interrupted.
That's the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, being a British guy, pretty soon he'll be like, "No, listen, I understand you guys are separate podcasts, but we're all going to do this one thing."
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well, I just expect to start talking about the royal family the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, and I thought we were going to be talking about guns the whole time.
That'll be the second half.
Yeah, that'll be the second half.
Do you guys own guns?
Yes.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, actually, I don't have any here
because we're free.
But my folks do, and like they live in my big like
take one step out of America and see how fucking crazy it is having fucking 37 guns. It is bananas.
Yeah. Well, it's
Land
weird. Like
free. Greatest country on the planet.
well,
I thought Jay was doing this.
Yeah.
Well, the bit of time that I lived in the UK, I thought it was like just coming out of this. And I was like in high school, but most of the guys are there. I mean, that own guns was specifically like licensed for going hunting or whatever the case may be. And usually not the average.
Do you know, like the UK has lots of stabbings, but do you know how to fix that? More guns.
Yeah. That'll be our mantra throughout the show. Yeah.
Have you guys ever
from America? Like immediately, not welcome.
Have you guys shot firearms at all? Like in your background? Ever been shooting?
I shot like I did like that, the clay pigeon shooting with a shotgun. And that's about it. I ain't fucking with that.
I've never.
I'm unstable.
Can't never fired a gun, Andre. You've never fired a gun at all.
No, I've never had the thrill of holding hot metal in my hand and
like
letting it off.
It is like regardless of your stance on guns and gun control, they're still fun as fuck to shoot. Like going out and shooting some targets and shit. Oh, it's so much fun. But
I've had I could show you a gun in less than a minute, right? I can walk and grab a gun and show it to you right now. Like that's how it is over here, especially in the South.
Yeah. And just quickly, did you guys send the emails to?
Yes, I did. I did a reply all, man, on the last chain when I sent it out. But
he's saying nothing. Okay, let me.
All right, hold on. What's his specific email address? I can send it while we're doing this. Like, give me his email. I don't.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, you've done it. It is right. I can tell you, I can bloody see it, mate.
I didn't want to say his email address.
Yeah. That's why I didn't say it either.
You guys have his personal number. I'll send that. Well, you could have texted it to me. That's what I was,
What we can do is just give out his address,
Yeah, that's
all right. I'm gonna copy it and WhatsApp it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. What a fucking clusterfuck this morning. I mean, we're stoked that we're all together, but Jesus Christ. And half of it I'll take the hit for because I don't know, even though I didn't,
only half.
Doesn't matter.
Only half.
Okay, I'll take 3/4. God damn it. But that's it. That's my limit.
Okay, look. Okay, easy. I've just sent it to him.
Nice.
So back to talking about the guns. Like, I know there are parts of the U.S. where some of my colleagues in New Jersey, like they're allowed to own shotguns, but they have to get licensed to own a rifle or a handgun if they can even own a handgun, but they can own shotguns and things like that. Like, I think England, you guys aren't allowed to have any firearms, right? You guys are still
no, like Josh said, there's special circumstances where you can get one for if you're part of some kind of gun club. But no, the average answer to that is no. We can't have guns.
It's really odd. Like Tennessee is just passed or is getting ready to pass. Like
it's passed. It just hasn't taken effect.
Yeah, you don't have to have a permit. You can have a full-on concealed or open carry.
No. It's only concealed.
A full concealed carry. Yes. You can carry without having any kind of licensing or anything like that.
Which honestly, concealed is the only way you should be carrying if you're going to carry.
And nobody's sitting back and going,
"Oh no, lots of people are sitting back."
Maybe we shouldn't do this. Like,
well, my whole thing is it's like. I'm all for some levels of gun control, like for sure.
Yeah, we already have levels of gun control. No one wants to admit it.
What levels of gun control do you guys have?
Well, you have to do a background.
Need a driver's license. Not even a valid one.
That's where they get into a gray area.
Yeah, well,
they shouldn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of loopholes. If they actually enforced the laws that were in place, then it would be a little different.
Sure,
absolutely. You can't get it from your local Walmart, like your neighbor and borrow theirs.
If you go to a gun show here, which is basically like in a civic center and arena, they'll have all these gun booths. You don't have to have a background check. You can just go fucking buy one there.
Well, yeah, because it's person to person purchase. Like,
it's a loophole.
That's the thing. We can sell. Like, I can sell him a gun. He can sell me a gun, and there's no record of it except now. Well, several years ago, I sold a pistol that I owned to a guy I worked with, but I drew up a bill of sale, like made it official, where I signed it and he signed it because I was like, fuck, if this guy goes and kills somebody, I do the background to buy this firearm. I need records of this. So I covered myself as far as that goes. But
even talking about this is making me sweaty, man. Just like just fucking sell a gun to like some guy on, what is it, Craigslist over there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's honestly it's fucking
Rocks
weird.
up in his tinted out van. He's like, what are you going to use that for? He's like, nothing. You're like, all right, cool. Have fun. Treat yourself.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Like I'm even for like beyond like having mental health assessments before you can buy one. Like,
oh yeah.
Well, if you're diagnosed with certain mental health things, you're not allowed.
Like
to own
legally, legally, I shouldn't be able to own.
I would venture to say that you may not would be able to legally.
No, I'm not legally. Yeah, I could.
Hey, there's easy.
No, see, I got diagnosed. God, man. Like I have bipolar disorder, so like I should not be allowed by law to own a gun, but I don't have to disclose it because of HIPAA, and so nobody knows. You know what I mean? I could go, just it doesn't matter. But like I shouldn't be able to, and I agree I shouldn't be able to.
Well, there we go.
So what is the gun laws, or not gun laws, but what is the gun situation in Scotland? Easy.
There isn't one. We don't. No, since the Dunblane massacre back in 95, guns were curtailed. Just like in England when they had the Hungerford massacre. Andre, you remember the Hungerford massacre up here? Yeah, we
curtailed well before then.
I think it was I don't think it was assault rifles, but you know the gun laws are more or less the same up here as they are in the rest of the UK. They're very strict. Yeah, they're very strict. Yeah. Like I said, since Dunblane, I think what's the guy's name? Andy Murray, the tennis player. Apparently, he lost friends in the Dunblane massacre. If memory serves me correctly. They don't mess about up here with them.
Yeah, it's very odd because it's something here you just get used to. You just assume, especially the South, that like everybody has a gun or is carrying or something like that. It's really kind of an odd mindset.
We don't mess about with them either. If you step to us, you're gonna get shot.
I don't know, but I mean, I think it's definitely problematic though. Like if you're being like unbiased.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you.
I mean, you have to
own guns, and I absolutely agree with you. It is. If you're being unbiased, our gun laws are a little off, to put it lightly. We should be allowed to own guns, but there should be, other stipulations that should be in place that aren't.
Yeah. So, is there any other countries in the world with such relaxed laws regarding guns?
Not that I know of.
Mexico, maybe?
Maybe Mexico. Yeah.
Ouch.
Well, no, I don't know what their fucking laws are, but because it's not hard to get firearms at all.
It's not. No.
But I mean, because I look at it.
In fact, I'm thinking of going and buying one recently.
Yeah, but I mean, I hate the fucking argument is like, well, guns don't kill people, people kill people, which is fucking true.
It is true, yes.
But guns make it really easier to fucking kill people. Because like I feel like weaponry, like anything else, it's amoral, right? It is the way you use it, but when you have easy access to that shit, a lot more people are going to fucking use it. You know what I mean? And so that's it's like anything else. An object's an object.
What is it? What is it? Chris Rock says, the bullet should cost $5,000.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So if you shoot somebody, you definitely meant to shoot them.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Well, shit. I don't know how many hunting accidents we have here. People getting fucking blasted with shotgun or what the fuck ever else.
I mean, shit. Our vice president shot somebody.
I was about to say that. I was about to say your vice president. Yeah.
Bush was in office, and Cheney shot somebody in the ass on a hunting trip.
That's it. Yeah. Dick Cheney shot somebody. Yeah. How can you shoot somebody? How can you shoot somebody in the back in a high vis jacket?
I get
deliberately. Besides deliberately, how?
On those hunting trips where they're doing that because they're probably like pigeon hunting or something like that. I can get that because they're walking around with a gun under their arm, waiting for the birds to fly up, and I could get if you're
happy.
I could get if you're being careless. It's carelessness. It shouldn't happen, but you're being careless.
Isn't the gun supposed to be broken? with it under your arm.
On TV, that is on TV.
Yeah, if it's a break open.
If it's a double barrel shotgun. Yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
The
thing about it is they're walking around waiting on the birds to fly, so they don't have it broken. It's ready to go. That way, as soon as they fly, they can pull right up and pull.
Yeah.
Ready. You can be ready to shoot those birds.
Right. The problem with it is they should not be walking with it pointing forward. That's the thing.
Yes, it should be pointing downwards. Yeah.
So that's the only problem, then, is it?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean.
If you're on a guided hunting trip like that, and you're all using firearms, if we're honest, it's rich, older white guys usually on these types of trips, and they're we know what we're doing, it's fine. But it's when you go to pull up really quick to shoot those, I could get where someone could accidentally do it, but that's why you shouldn't be in front of or behind anyone. If you should all be next to each other doing something like that, because at least then if you accidentally fire, it's just going to go forward. No one's standing there. But it is an accident like what Dick Cheney had is complete carelessness, and it does give most of the people that own guns, it's shit like that makes it harder on the guys that are responsible gun owners. But
that plus all the people that get shot and killed in street fights and stuff like that.
So does no one in the 3 countries that we have represented that you're not allowed to own guns except under special circumstances? No one.
It's just hoping that someone else. We don't. Nobody else, mate. It's just USA.
That's why the 3 countries represented here. That's what
is it.
He's reaching out. He's reaching out. Surely one of you guys.
Anybody?
What is as crazy as you guys when it comes to firearms? Afraid not. To the people mean.
So we have somebody here. Audrey Haynes says, "Hi guys.
Hey, that's my friend from the UK.
Prevent lawlessness from the silent assassin from the UK. Do I think it encourages violence or prevents lawlessness? I think neither. Honestly, I don't think it encourages violence, but I also don't think it prevents lawlessness either. Yeah. But so my question that I had for you guys was, are there any crimes committed with firearms in your 3 countries?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go on, Josh. You go.
Like recently we had the it's usually like gang crime, but it's usually gang on gang crime. It's not typically like taken out on like the public. It's I couldn't even mention the last one where it was like, I think there was like the lint siege where a guy went to a lint store with a shotgun and held it up for
a whole lot of chocolate.
Yeah. He says, "Have you had it? It's good shit."
My favorite, the red one.
Oh, don't even start. I'm dying at the moment.
You're gonna go get your gun now.
But we haven't had anything like it's like I said. It's gang on gang. Getting a gun is one super hard here and incredibly expensive if you were to go down in the path. And it's the same thing as a $5,000 bullet thing. You know what I mean? It's like you have to really think and want and have a warrant need to use it. This is why it's predominantly just like gang on gang, or you know what I mean? It's not just there's no random person shooting a random person for they cut them off.
Well,
although we have the laws here, which are supposed to be very stringent, apparently it is easy to get a gun here, but it's it's like Josh said, it's the criminal fraternity that tend to scoop them up and do harm with them.
Well, that's a lot of what gets said, especially in the South.
It's a stupid argument.
In the U.S., it's like if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns, which is partially true. I mean, that is partially true. I mean, but and I think that's part of, especially in the South again, especially in the South where people are like, I don't want someone that breaks, because if you're willing to break into someone's house, you're probably willing to skirt the gun law and own a gun. I mean, especially at this point, we've been so long with them, you'll never be able to get all of them back. You'll never be able to take all of them back, But so people, don't want the chance of anyone breaking in their house and not being able to protect himself at least as much as the person breaking in. And I get some of that, but
yeah.
But isn't there like a lot of like those cases where somebody's broken into their house, they've gotten up and they've shot their partner or their kid?
That happens. It's not, but also,
but I feel like, I do feel like shit like that though. Like if a kid, like somebody just has a handgun in their fucking nightstand and their kid comes in and fucking accidentally, like their 4-year-old comes in and accidentally fires it off and kills themselves, I think the parent should be held liable for manslaughter, like hands down.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I think there's also an issue with the guns is that they're like, especially when you're over there, they're made to look cool. I think me and the Juxta boys spoke about this last time. It's made to look like, once again, firing them is cool, like a sex appeal to it. And I guarantee when you go to these gun shows, there's lots of like half-dressed women, with big titties out holding guns, and you being a simple man, you see titties and you're like, guns are even cooler now.
The two go together, don't they?
It's that episode of The Simpsons, where there's that girl in the car and she goes, "Do you come with the car?" And she says it to fucking every guy that walks past, and every guy's like, "Oh, the car now." Yeah, same fucking thing. So it's like there's a level of like coolness and sexiness about it that people want it, but nobody fucking understands it. Nobody understands the power of a gun until they, you know what I mean? Until they have it, they fuck it up.
I don't understand, like, because I'm really mixed on a lot of it, but like we also lead the entire universe in mass shootings. Sure, and that's partly for the accessibility because you can get a fucking 16-year-old people, whatever. But I don't know, man. I'm weird because I like knowing that if I want to go fucking shoot some shit out in the country, because my parents own like 40 acres, like out in the fucking woods, and going in there and like, taking a rifle and doing target practice and shit, that's fun as fuck. But I have no desire to carry one around, out in public. But most people aren't like that because we're also fed, especially on the conservative side of things, that everybody's out there with a fucking another gun trying to kill you, and you've got to defend yourself at any point. And that just leads to fucking like unnecessary.
Well, there's also the hero complex. Like, you never know when you may need to save someone. You never know when you may be in a convenience store and someone comes in to rob the place and you need to protect everybody there.
Yeah, but look at the shit like in New York with fucking Chauvin. Like, was that New York? No, where the fuck was it? I don't know.
I was just gonna let you.
But
be
anyway,
wrong.
but yeah, it's fine. I am wrong.
Minneapolis.
That was Minneapolis. Yeah, Minneapolis.
As if they saw something going down and they had their guns, they'd run in as heroes. You guys be tiptoeing out the back door. What are you talking about?
But isn't that another argument though? It's like if we arm regular citizens and that have something to fight the bad guys with, and in most cases it never happens. Like there's one,
and that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Which is it's just arming untrained civilians to have a gun.
Speaking of
sorry, go.
Sorry. Speaking of untrained, you guys, you said you both got guns. So how many times have you been able to use them, for good, whether it be to protect yourselves or whatever, and not just for fun?
Oh, never. I mean, I was marksman qualified in the military. So I shot a good bit then, and so like I said, it's like I don't.
You guys shoot guns underwater?
Yeah, right. Oh, absolutely. No, we still. No. Water I couldn't just fucking walk out of. Sure. So
So I guess
do you guys have government issued swim trunks that you guys lay out in? Okay. I'm one of the people, like, I love guns. I love owning, and I don't have a lot. I only have a handful of guns, but I'll
a handful.
Only a handful,
I have a rifle.
We're talking about people with one gun. You got a handful of guns.
I've got a rifle.
I've got all
I've got a rifle. I've got a shotgun, and I've got a handgun.
What do you guys think the solution is to this problem? Like, it is a problem.
I've got it for you.
Like, what?
So the guns with no firing pins in them.
No one.
Plastic guns. Have you seen that? The other guys
power of a handgun.
Give them a wood gun. All Americans get a wooden gun from now on.
A wooden gun. A rubber gun.
Go pie. Bang. Yeah, pie. You're dead.
The power of a gun is when you get to the age where you can buy a gun, and I think for a handgun it's 21 here in the U.S. It's just when you're ready to have your first beer and get drunk, you can buy a handgun. Yeah. So
great timing.
Yeah.
But you guys are selling it?
So if you want to buy a handgun, they bring somebody out and you have to shoot them, and then you can understand the power of the handgun. That's the way it is.
Just to kill something.
One thing I do like about, I know in the UK, at least when I was there, this may have changed, that the average officer does not carry a firearm, but their specialty units do. Like if they're coming in for a specific situation where it's needed, then those guys are carrying. But for the most part, they don't carry firearms. And I used to,
that's right.
Yeah, and
exactly. So when we say nobody in US carries guns, obviously we mean nobody. That means not the police, not anybody. Again, outside the US, it just seems common sense, but the US seems to struggle with that.
That's an interesting thing, because you could, so if you do away with guns, let's say the same laws as all you communist countries. No, if we follow the same path and we do away with the guns,
if that means sensible, then fine.
Sure. So if then the police officers, aside from the specialty units, don't carry firearms as well, then all of the police shootings that we have would, in theory, go away.
Yeah.
Do you think that then there would be other police violence perpetrated on people of color in the U.S. like we've seen lately with guns? With the police, would there be more police beatings? Would there be, or would the police be attacked more because there's no threat of being shot?
I don't think it's not a policeman with a gun issue. It's the lack of training that they fucking give them, man.
Oh,
the beatings would be there, like 100%. But it's like you're not you're arming somebody who shouldn't have it in the first place. So giving them any type of weapon, they're gonna fucking use it. And they'll use it against anybody. Yeah. So it's
speaking like someone with common sense, Josh, and we don't like that over here.
It's crazy thing, man. It's like what is police training over there? I heard it's something like incredibly minimal, and there's not a lot of testing. They're like, you want to be a cop? Here's a badge. Here's a gun. Go treat yourself.
It's also not that ongoing either, as far as that kind of stuff.
No, they don't have a lot of most of the training. I think police academy in theory is like a month or two, and they have firearms training. They have like
that's where they teach you how accurate to shoot the person,
right? And they have some driving training, but the actual personnel, as far as intervention, dealing with people with mental illness, any of that stuff, it doesn't fucking exist at the minimum. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things, is because we get a lot of people here too, outside of the systemic racism, that people with mental illness, with schizophrenia, with bipolar disorder, they're having an episode that'll fucking get gunned down, and they're just off their fucking mind. So instead of having somebody that's trained to deal with that shit, they just fucking pull. It's
interesting. Interesting what you said though about what would happen, for instance, if you live in a society where the police are beating on you and they're shooting on you and everything, and then all of a sudden now you have a scenario where the police no longer have guns, then you may well get a scenario now where the police
revenge,
where people are going to fight back now, because if I'm used to you coming at me with a gun, and now you're coming at me, but you haven't got a gun, then there's a good chance that I'm now going to say, all that beatings and the threats and the way you've been treating us, they may not put up with it. So you may well get a backlash.
Right. Well, I think a big issue here, like with the states, with gun control, with any type of social programs about healthcare, education, whatever, I think a lot of the pushback is because how things started, and it's so entrenched in culture. For that stuff to shift would be a major crumbling of the systems that are in place.
I concur.
A lot of people are pro. I think that some fucking free education to make people less fucking stupid is fantastic, or some, a healthcare so people that can't afford it can get it is great. But with a capitalistic system, something that's been founded on that for 200 goddamn years, you're going to have some major upheaval and internal war and all kinds of shit over those kinds of changes. And in the long run, maybe it's worth it. But in the short term, it would be absolute fucking upheaval and anarchy here for a good, few years before that shit.
Yeah.
I think,
Isn't that what you're going through now? It's a fucking chaos over there.
It's getting pretty rough. But I feel but my whole thing is too is government's full of shit one way or the other.
We can hear that, Easy. Is it rummaging? Is that you, Easy?
What are you eating?
God, man, come back in that, bro. Come back.
I don't know what you're talking about. Stop it. Stop blaming me for everything. Stop it. It's not nice. It's bullying. It's bullying.
Better than that, man.
Yeah, if I figure he's got some crisps or he's opening a fucking bag of pre-made crumpets, I don't know which.
I can't believe that, man.
You know, I hate this microphone. It picks up everything.
I always like, dude, Andrè, he's so chill. Like he spits his stuff in every now and then, but for the most part, he's really hard to rile up, and that
yeah. Let me just spit something else in there about the American police. I think that if they didn't have guns, they would have to change their whole attitude, because at the moment they come gung ho. They don't ask, they tell, they threaten. They got their guns by their side. Without the guns, they'd have to try to appeal to man's nature a bit more and just really treat people a bit more like humans.
Are you talking about de-escalation? Fuck, that's just crazy talk, man.
So here's the thing about police officers over here is most, I'm not going to say every, but most police officers that I've ever met or had any run-in with at all, they're all the jock that you went to high school with that couldn't make it to the next level in sports, and now they're on a power trip because they've never been told no their whole life, and they joined the police force because they picked on guys in school because they were the jock that wasn't quite as good as the people that go on to play college sports, and now they're just picking on citizens for the most part. It's not all of them. I know,
but training comes into it, right? Like, I remember doing fight training when I was younger. Like, I did Muay Thai for quite a while. Once you learn the damage of something, like once you learn the damage that like your hands can do, you don't look for it ever. Your ego goes away because you understand that there's very real repercussions for your actions. So you don't do it. You don't go around trying to start fights like you did before it. Like you're not proving yourself. You're like, I'm competent. I know I can do this.
Exactly.
So I have avenues. I don't have that one fucking avenue to go down, which is just, all right, let's stop this situation immediately. What's the fastest way to do that?
I think I said this, I can't remember to which podcast it was. One of you guys, when we had the subject, I said the same thing. I think a lot of it stems through fear. And especially when the police are met up against some big black guy who doesn't appear to be intimidated, their job, as far as they're concerned, is to show him that we're in control, you're not in control. And the way to show him that is to violence, to bring him down. It's not to know the method, not to talk to him, nothing else. It's to show him that we run things and we're gonna bring you down. If it means more of us, we call more of us. We don't care. If it's 6 of us to take you down, it doesn't matter. But our job is now to take you down.
That's it. And that shit bleeds down. I mean, 100%, because then you have these conservative white guys that are 100% always been taught to support the police, support the military, support that they back that shit, or and it creates so much tension everywhere, like even to the point where somebody that doesn't have an issue, I mean, there's predominantly black neighborhoods that fucking hate. I mean, you got to be careful fucking walking through that shit. Just like there's fucking small goddamn towns in Alabama that if you're a black dude, you don't want to fucking go through because there's so much tension that's created by that fucking dynamic. It fucks everybody in the long run. It really does.
Amazing.
Yeah, but
crazy vision.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Like, sorry, you guys have like really crazy equipment in terms of like police gear, right? So even like our top, like, I don't know, whatever the top level of policing is just a guy in a vest with a pistol. You might get snipers or whatever. You guys have like fucking tanks and shit. That is like the most intimidating, threatening type thing. And I guess it's one of those things, like talking to people from like the military, and they go, you get accustomed to it and your body rewires itself to not fear it, but to attack it. You know what I mean? You don't run from it constantly. You run at it because you're fucking sick of seeing it. And then, so what the police do is they escalate their equipment in terms of like, all right, let's get bigger guns, let's get bigger cars, let's get tanks, let's get helicopters, let's try and intimidate these people and keep them in a constant state of fear. And that, like Andrè was saying, and that will get them to do what we're doing, what we want them to do. That'll, and then people just are like, no, we're not scared of your fucking tanks anymore. We're not worried about any of this shit anymore, and they fight back. But as if you wouldn't, man.
Yeah,
but I think that we're past due, and as much as because everything, the problem with a lot of shit here in the States is everything eventually gets politicized instead of maintaining its meaning. Like with the BLM, like it's 100% a justified movement, but it's become such a political a political point now, that to me it invalidates the people that are involved in the politicizing, starts to invalidate the purpose of the movement. And that's across the board with anything, not just BLM. And it pisses me off every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's Black Lives Matter, the phrase and the meaning, which I think most people can support. And then there's like he said, there's the actual political social group that has their own set of rules and things like that. And it unfortunately gives the people that are just the people that are just average citizens out on the street trying to support the movement. It kind of gives them a bad name with the people that are a bit uneducated on the issue or whatever.
Well, then you also get virtue signaling assholes that want to go out, because most of the rioting and the business burning were done by fucking white people that were going out and be like, yeah, we're allies. It's like, you're gonna be an ally, just fucking support the shit.
Right.
Do what's needed.
Yeah. But the political groups that we have tend to give everything else a bad name. And that in the South,
so much tequila
in the South, especially.
Hey, that's like a fucking cup of tequila there, boys. What the fuck?
Well, this is America.
You mind your own goddamn business, Josh.
We like to drink early in the morning and then go shoot our guns in the afternoon. There's time, we'll go do a police fundraiser. No, it's here's funny. It's an interesting. I mean, because you have the United States, and then you have. Good Lord,
that was stout. Ooh.
This is why we couldn't have guns. Your reaction to that drink.
I've already said I shouldn't have guns. I'm bipolar.
And yet you do.
And yet, yeah, exactly. And yet,
so he doesn't actually own any guns.
Not at my house.
His
he
parents
just borrowed them.
Yeah, he has to go. He has to come over here to get something.
Yeah, no, like I'll go visit my folks and we'll do shooting and stuff. But yeah, I don't keep them in the house and granted, I've been medicated and very fucking stable for a while, but it's just not a good idea being fucking bipolar, because if I miss medication and I go fucking manic, I'm not in any danger of like killing strangers, but fucking, throwing one in my mouth is absolutely a fucking possibility. I don't
But if you wanted a gun, you could get one, yeah?
Oh, 100%. You could just
because of HIPAA, I don't have to disclose any of that. I don't have to go and say, hey, I'm bipolar with fucking, anti-personality disorder tendencies. Like, I don't have to mention any of that shit. Like, I just
I'm
go.
Just a good dude wanting to shoot some squirrel.
Yeah, right.
Squirrel out of a tree.
I just want to kill some of them groundhogs, man. Jeez.
I need a assault rifle to do this with a scope on it.
Yeah.
Groundhog drum mags, so I don't run out of bullets when I'm shooting squirrels out of my tree.
And
squirrels is code for preschools down here. I guess.
Yeah, that's right. If you come back in 3 days, we'll have it all wrapped up for you and on your way.
The funny thing is, man, like honest to God, is a lot of the media and shit that comes out of the States, because I've always heard that it's not going to make the news unless it's sensationalized, right? So you have what you hear with the far left are like there's a pocket of them that are yelling the loudest, and then there's the pocket of the hyper conservatives that are yelling the loudest, and that's the shit that gets exported. The average person here in the States, honestly, and I will say there's more of the hardcore right wing here in the South, but as a whole, most people are pretty moderate on that shit. Like really, they understand the need for change. Most people don't have any fucking idea how to go about that shit, but they'll still, they stay kind of in the middle. Like that's the norm for the most, at least in my experience. But
yeah, it's probably pretty close to true.
More in the middle. Again, different here in the South for sure. Well, it's like the South versus California. Those are the fucking people you hear the most fucking screaming out of. Yeah. And everybody kind of in the middle is kind of like, I can see both sides to this. It's what I tend to see, like, as far as anecdotally.
Boys, what's it like in the UK in terms of like, is it that extreme there? Do you get like these sects of just extreme, like, I hate saying the left and right. It's so silly. But or is it?
Go on, Andrè.
I think that's a good point. I don't know of areas where you can go and get lynched. Obviously, there'll be places where you'll go and people will start calling out names. And if you go into places, they won't want to serve you. but I don't think we're in threat of being lynched.
Is that white on black? What you're talking about?
Oh, okay. It's interesting. Oh, I get you the question. Yeah. I'm talking white on black. Now, as for black on white, and as far as I know, Easy, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, white people can go anywhere in any black area. Well, I say that because Brixton,
because I got a badge on the chest
for a black area, and I've never heard of Brixton attacking people or attacking white people. Maybe attacking their own. But again, if I'm wrong, tell me. But I don't know of any areas where white people will be attacked. And I know sometimes, let me just say that white people, that might sound offensive, but that's how we're talking. We're talking black people, we're talking white people. So I'm not take offense when I put it like that. But as far as I know, I don't know of anywhere where white guys or white women can go and be fear of being attacked.
Yeah, you know what
you're right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Easy. I didn't mean to interrupt you, man.
No, you can't. I was just backing up on Andre that statement.
And I would say I've been in some situations. I feel like the big difference here is if you go somewhere as a black man in certain areas, it doesn't fucking matter what your attitude is. But as a white dude, I can go into most places and I might not be welcome, but if I show respect, then I tend to be at least tolerated, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah.
If you're a black man coming to certain areas, it doesn't matter how respectful and kind you are. They're like, fuck you. We don't want you here. But as a white dude, I can go to some straight up like rough places. And if I come in and I buy a couple people a drink and I'm fucking no, seriously.
Hold on. Are you saying that there's places where you can turn up and they might just look at you and not like you?
Yeah. Dude, I've walked into a blues bar in fucking Memphis, Tennessee, and it was like the record stopped when I walked in.
Are these black people? Are we talking black people or white people?
Yeah. But I mean, I just love music, and if I go in there with that attitude, and I buy somebody a drink, and I'm kind, and I'm not disrespectful, like I'm at least, like I said, tolerated, if not completely accepted. But as a black man in places in Alabama, you walk into a fucking redneck fucking biker bar, it doesn't matter what your fucking attitude is, you're not going to be welcome. And that's a huge cultural difference, I think, and that's really fucked up to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's sorry. Go on, Josh. Go on.
No, go ahead.
No, Easy. Ahead. Come on, man. Bring your love.
No. It reminds me of a situation I witnessed in the Apollo Theater in Harlem years ago.
Oh, it's such a great venue.
And it was obviously it was talent night, and this young white girl came on stage, and she was immediately booed before she even opened her mouth.
Yeah. And who are the crowd? What are they? Are they black? Are they white? What are they?
Oh, it's 99% black. Okay, and the rest will be Hispanic. Yeah. Anyway, so what happened was, they said we've got this. So they said we've got this white girls coming up to sing, and obviously it's a middle of Harlem. So the talent tends to be black. And then they said, she had a little chat with her initially. Said, oh, so where you from? And then she said, Atlanta. Okay, so she's from the South. So again, that riled. She ended up winning. She slaughtered the audience. And everyone stood up and they were giving her... it was a case of respect, regardless of her color. When she opened her mouth and she tore the place apart. And it was brilliant. It was actually a joy because you just saw them. You saw people just switch.
Yeah.
You just saw people. You saw people switch. Now I get what B3F is saying with regards to us. You and I go in. We go into a redneck or a country and western bar, and we step to the mic, and we're not going to get the same love. I can't see. No, yeah, we're not going to get the same love. We're going to get chased down the road with pitchforks and burning torches and tiki torches.
And Josh, I don't know how much you know about the Apollo, but it's in Harlem, predominantly black, and they're notoriously a rough, like they're a hard fucking audience. Like if you don't have thick skin and some fucking balls on you, they're going to tear you a fucking apart. But if you can go in
and come out and take you off stage.
Yeah, but there's a handful of white comedians that have thrived, but because they've shown respect and also they weren't intimidated and just fucking threw it down because they showed that they saw everybody as equals, and that goes a long fucking way for that shit. But man, Harlem great, but Harlem has gotten
Yeah,
I think it's better. They've worked hard on that, but there's such a division that's caused. And somebody commented a minute ago that with U.S. capitalism rules supreme and decent gets thrown out.
Yeah, that's Big T.
That's Big T. Yeah, big shout out to Big T.
Yeah, he's from the US as well.
I feel like there's some truth to that. I mean, I there are definitely virtues, I think, in capitalism, because ideally, in a utopian society, right, it puts everybody on a somewhat level playing field. That's not how it works out in the long run, but it does give a little more of an opportunity to certain people depending on their luck and what they run into. But it is a lot of luck and trust fund that plays in for sure.
Well, but that's right. Like, would you guys still consider America a capitalist country? You guys are really borderline onto this the 1% supreme, and I think that's more of a dictatorship. They've decided who gets what. Like, they've held other people purposefully down, and they're used to create wealth for these generationally rich.
Ooh. Straight down there, Josh. Straight down.
Go on, Josh. Don't you hold back. You say what you feel.
No, it's great. And I feel like, and I won't answer for Joey, but for me,
yeah, you will.
Yeah, I will. But I feel like a lot of it is there are areas on a small level that, like, there are opportunities that you wouldn't get otherwise. I think, as far as the ease of starting a business and be able to make it on your own, but there is a level of that for sure. But part of it for me is I look at it as they might be this oligarch, I fucking never can pronounce it correctly, that control this mass amount of industry that can hold people down and shit. But a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, they work their asses off to a point where they can sell their business to one of these motherfuckers and then they can move forward from there. But as far as these big businesses go, I look a lot of times as somebody in their lineage worked their fucking asses off for that money. Yeah. And maybe there's an unfair advantage to keeping that and passing it down. But somebody there worked, and I would look at it as, say I worked my ass off and became a fucking billionaire. It's not my kids' fault that they're fucking rich. Now they're grown up to be pretentious assholes because their parents never taught them to fucking be decent goddamn people, or that's taken for granted. Because really, that 1% could do so much good in opening avenues for other people. But I don't know, man. I think it's a mixed bag. But it's like any other type of government. The people with the most money are going to be the people in power. It doesn't matter if it's communistic. It doesn't matter if it's socialistic. It doesn't matter. You're always going to have an upper class that fucking dictates where everybody else below them can go, in my opinion.
But can't you control that upper class? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be this just such a polarizing difference between the upper and the lower, because that's all it is now. There's no such thing as a middle.
It's kind of
all, it's all us and them. Like, who has $200 billion?
Yeah.
Nobody. Like, what the fuck are you going to do with that? You're not going to spend that in a lifetime. Your kids aren't going to spend it in a lifetime. Like, it goes down forever. Like, you cannot spend that amount of money.
For sure. I'd give it a good go. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I will try my best. I will try my best.
So what are you saying though, Josh? What are you saying, that they should be made to give some of it up? Higher taxes? What are you saying?
But once again, like, how do you decide that? Once again, people have worked for it. Like, you look at Jeff Bezos and you go, like, the dude worked for it, he earned it, so you can't take it away from him. But surely that has better system. It's not taking it away from the rich, but it's providing something better for the poor. Like, it's even if it comes out providing better services, like in America, for instance, like their schooling, like with the ridiculous system they have set up for their the college schooling, where
that's
it's
like flat earthers is the education system here in the U.S.
There's this incredible debt, right? So that's immediately stress. Like that is stress for the rest of your life. And what does stress create? It creates sickness. It creates all types of mental health issues and disorders, and then you can't get that fixed.
Right. We've got that in the UK now to a certain extent, where if you want to go to university now, it charges you're charged a huge amount. So yeah, you end up being 17, 18, 19, and you rack up a huge bill while you go to university. And the idea is that it's slowly taken from your wages for the rest of your life.
But I think the difference with the one in America, it's there's interest added onto it, and you cannot get rid of it at all. So here in Australia, you have to earn a particular amount before it starts coming out of your tax.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. We're on the same level. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas America, I think you have to pay it. And even if you go, I've got no money at all, whatever money you do get beyond that point, you have to pay. Is that correct?
To a point. I mean, you can get deferrals based on hardship and income level. No. But the thing is,
it doesn't go away. You can just defer it for a long and not pay it for a longer period of time. And
can I defer it till I'm dead?
Well, I mean,
but there's interest. Is it true about interest?
Do you have interest on it?
That's cool, man.
But also you can do, because I'm in the middle of some of this stuff right now. I mean, I have student loans. My wife had, God knows, I mean, she's got 3 or 4 degrees. She's got plenty of student loans, but it's like, if you decide you can't pay it, and most people can't, but like you defer it for so long or whatever, or you pay a bare minimum, let's just say $20 a month. You pay it, and after you do that for so many years, they'll write the rest of it off. The only issue is if you want to go back to school, you can't take out another loan to go back to school. You're paying out of pocket at that point.
Yeah.
Right. If you write it off and pay. Do what?
Does it impact any other future loans, like getting, buying a house?
No, it doesn't affect any of that.
It can if you default.
If you default, yes, but I'm talking about if you just make that minimum.
Yeah.
If you set up that agreement where you're paying whatever it is, $20 a month for so many years, and they write it off, it doesn't affect your other loans like buying a home or a car or something. But if you default, if you just can't pay it and you don't pay, yeah, absolutely, it can affect all that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
And if for some reason in the U.S. you have to file bankruptcy, you cannot discharge your student loans with that bankruptcy.
Yeah, really?
You don't
Wow.
Like I understand that, like the point that it'll stop people from just getting their thing and then going, oh, I'm bankrupt.
Right.
Like that's it. That is like, imagine being down in the dirt. It's like, I think it's like the same thing as banks charging people with like that overdraw fee. When your bank goes into minimum, and then you go, fuck, you got no money, we're going to take $20 off you.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's the craziest fucking like little loophole rule that they've created, because then, like, I guess when you take a step back, you can kind of go like, that is by design. Like, people have created this fucking system and it keeps you there, because if you don't have fucking any money in your bank and they charge you an extra $20, that's a minus $20 you get in your next pay packet. And that's fuel for your car.
We get the same scenario with bank cards here, where you might owe £1,000 on your bank card, and it tells you the minimum you need to pay is £20 a month. So you pay that £20 a month, but you realize later on that 18 of that pounds is interest, and you're only
interest.
Yeah. And that's the sort of thing that they do here.
Well, that's what I was talking about, by this this generational wealth that has created this design it's so fucking perfect at like keeping people. I don't know, like what are your guys' backgrounds? Like, did you grow up wealthy? Did you know?
So actually, this generational wealth thing is something my family's going through right now to an extent. 28 years ago, my dad started a business. He left the company he was with and started the same type of company. And the kids never knew it because they made sure that they kept that between them. My dad and my stepmom were like, we were poor. We didn't have shit. Like, my dad would tell you, like, we didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but we didn't know that. But he built this company to a very successful company, very successful, small business, still like 10 employees or something like that total. But he takes care of his family. He goes to church avidly. He gives plenty of money to the church, like build a basketball gym, pay to have a basketball gym built for the church so that the kids have something to do. Like, he is he's a judgmental guy because he's a religious guy, but he's also one of the most generous and fair people that I know in my life. But he's decided at this point in his life, he didn't want to do this business anymore. It's too stressful. He's 63, 64 years old. He didn't want to deal with it. He wants to be able to, for him and my stepmom, to be able to go and travel and do things while they're still young enough to instead of handing that business down and all of his kids benefiting from this, whatever. My sister and her husband actually have to buy they're in the process right now of purchasing the business from my father.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, they're having to pay for it, and then if the rest of the family is going to work, that's fine. But there's generational wealth is for sure. There's issues with it, but I don't know. Like Steven said earlier, at some point in that family line, somebody worked their ass off to get that business where it is. But then you've also got people like Microsoft, Bill Gates, that had said whatever, like, I'm leaving my kids some money, but not enough that they don't have to work the rest of their life. And which is a commendable thing to do. I mean, I kind of would like to do the same thing with my kids, but
fuck that. My kids are going to start poor and they can make their own goddamn money.
You know, I want to be a rich person. Like Easy said earlier, like $200 billion bucks. I'd like to give it a good go at trying to spend it.
Of course, yeah, I'll chip away at it. I would chip away at it.
Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at B3F Podcast and on Instagram at B3F_podcast. Send us your questions or comments to bfff.podcast@gmail.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen to the show. And as always, thanks for listening.